Hey everybody, welcome to the Adventure Archive. It's your pal Joey, and I want to talk about another Kickstarter today. Jason's not able to be with me on this, so this isn't your typical take my money kind of episode, but there's only so many more days left for this Kickstarter. And so even though Jason is not available to record this with me, I wanted to go ahead and talk about this one and get it out there to try to let, some of our viewers who will see this video know about it. Today we're talking about the Chronicles of Sorrow. And I don't mean my teenage years, but it is a Kickstarter that is set up by a gentleman named Daniel Leto. I believe that's how that would be pronounced. So I am frequently on some two Dragonbane groups on Facebook, and I've seen this Kickstarter posted quite a few times. And I wanted, I just figured I keep seeing it, so why not click on it and see what it's all about. And I like this one. So, Chronicle of Sorrow is an epic campaign for Dragonbane. Sins of the past are catching up with the kin of Nordmark. Will the heroes bring doom or salvation to the people of the realm? Gotta do, the movie theater voice. It had a goal of $2,611. It's up to $25,038. It has 241 backers, and it's only got 12 more days to go. So there's a video here you can watch, and this is a Kickstarter out of Sweden, but they do have English versions that you can back. So if we look at the story, all right. So Chronicles of Sorrow. The campaign Chronicles of Sorrow tells the story of Nordmark and its kin, the humans, the dwarves, and the orcs. It's a tale of darkness, hardships, and hard choices, where the characters might change the outcome of conflicts lurking below the peaceful surface. So right away, I really like dwarves. If you've seen me on the show here playing Dragonbane, Donovan was amazing. He was amazing to play, and I love the fantasy dwarf, typical portrayal. And then I like when it deviates into other kinds of things, but dwarven culture in general, I'm a big fan of in fantasy games. And I'm also a fan of orcs. Not so much as goblins. Do I love me some goblins? But orcs are still cool. Will their efforts be enough to save Nordmark? Will the Shadow Order survive? Will the orcs claim their right? Will the dwarves manage to keep the orcs at bay? This and more are the events in which the characters will find themselves, whether they like it or not. And when the Wheel of Fortune is set in motion, can they prevent destruction and doom? The campaign consists of 4 books. First one is called Fate of Boros. Then we have Soot and Soil, The Heirs of Durgaz, and finally By Blood and Betrayal. So the first book, the gates of the Kingdom of Boros are closed and not opened for months. The reason turns out to be more frightful than anyone could anticipate. The fate of dwarves and orcs are at stake. Sounds interesting to me. Part 2, Ghosts of the Past once again threaten the kingdom. A betrayal sets everything in motion. Things awaken both in the north and in the south. And Cavalion is ready for war. So the second part sounds like there's like a little bit of political intrigue going on in there. Which I enjoy some political intrigue in a campaign as a player. I also enjoy putting it in a game that I'm running if that's something the players want. I'm always down for a really good social roleplay encounter. Part 3. When rumors of a victorious orc chieftain spread across the land, the orcs suddenly find new hope for the future. Is it the heir of the legendary Durgaz that has arisen? Will he unite the clans and finally bring the orcs out of their suffering? All right, so we got probably generically, like in every fantasy setting, orcs are kind of like the underdogs, slightly misunderstood, slightly, you know, miscalculated as to like what their culture means to them. Like these I was about to say dorks. Yeah, these dorks probably aren't all barbaric, ravaging monsters. And of course, they're often greatly oppressed in the settings that they're in to some degree. Those orcs are fun, and I really love Tolkien orcs though as well. It's debatable, but my philosophy and belief for the Tolkien orcs is that they're just evil for the sake of you needed evil in the story. So I like cannon fodder orcs, and I like methodical, philosophical orcs as well. And then, of course, I love carnival orcs. Got to talk about carnivals. I love an orc in clown makeup doing funny things. Who wouldn't? Part 4. An ancient secret is uncovered. Following the clues, the characters will make even greater discoveries that might redefine all that is known about the past, with huge consequences for the present. Ooh, time travel, maybe? But some do not want these secrets to be revealed. So, obviously, it might not necessarily be time travel, but greater discoveries that are from the past to help, figure out what the present is going to have to deal with in the aftermath. And obviously there's an organization of some kind who is going to do everything they can to stop you from saving Nordmark. So here we have some deets for these books. We have some cover art, which I really like the cover art a lot. The first book is 115 pages. Second one is 174 for the third, and 150 for the fourth one. PDFs included in all reward levels. VTTs can be purchased as editions. Books and soft cover unless we meet the stretch goal for hardcover print in full color. And that is a asterisk by 2 of those books. And that just means it's the estimated page count. It could change. Next, we have a beautiful map for Nordmark. I love... So I never really paid much attention. I draw maps all the time. Like, I will be at my job when there's a little bit of downtime or I'm on a break, start drawing a map. I'll be at the coffee house, drawing a map. I'll be at my mom's house, drawing a map. You put me in jail, I'll draw lots of maps. But I love maps. Maps are just... I'm constantly thinking of places that I want to exist, and I'll just start making a map of it. And I love in particular when a map has what looks like, a watercolor look to it. It's a beautiful map. I love the colors in it, and the overall layout looks good. And I love, of course, how Dragonbane maps, other maps, of course, but I've yet to see a Dragonbane map that didn't have some kind of decoration, on the borders of it. Love that. So, next we're moving on to Welcome to Nordmark. When men first arrived in the valley, the land had already been claimed by centaurs in the south. Centaurs? And dwarves and orcs in the north. The humans' arrival disturbed the already fragile peace. The earth was stained red with the blood of orcs and dwarves alike. So, like humans tend to do, we mess everything up a little bit. Things were probably already messed up. The orcs and the dwarves were probably already killing each other. Mankind comes around, says, hey, let us help you kill each other. Sounds right? The dwarves were forced down into the darkness of their mountain halls. The orcs suffered terribly and were almost wiped out. The creatures who pleaded for help from their kin in the south held on to the land south of the river flowing through the valley. As time went by, the humans founded their own kingdom, Videnmark. I like that name, Videnmark. The Valley of Nordmark was considered a separate province in the Great Kingdom until the war against the Shadow King tore a rift between East and West. The Shadow King's feared army terrorized the province of Nordmark and threatened to spread across the continent of Mervale. Mervald. Mervald? Mervald. Probably. Videnmark sent troops to aid Nordmark, and together they defeated the Shadow King. So we're getting a little bit of history for this place, some lore, some background. Now here we go. Here's a piece of art that I really like this art, and here's why. When I first saw it, the first thing that I thought of was, damn, does this give me like old school Magic the Gathering card art vibes. Can you see it? I love this. It's some kind of massive fire elemental coming out of a mountain, turning it into a volcano. It probably already was a volcano. But this art spoke to me. And I love it. Generations passed and the memory of the Shadow King and his horrors fade into legend, but now something is awakening in the north. There are rumors of evil stirring, yet those who dare speak of it out loud are ridiculed or imprisoned. Ugh. All the while, the past is slowly finding a way to seek its revenge. As war once again threatens to make Nordmark suffer, events are unknowingly set in motion by clueless men. The only remaining hope lies with a handful of unexpected heroes. Can you save Nordmark from its doom? And alongside with this, we have this really cool Dark Knight with a flaming sword. Really good artwork again. Here we have some kind of horror spider-ish abomination. I wouldn't immediately put this in the Eldritch horror category. I'd just call it an abomination. I could easily describe this. So here are the campaign books again. We could see the artwork a little bit closer. I love it. I love this elemental worm on the second book. I love the orcs charging into battle. I love the heroes looking over, Nordmark, the valley. The only thing that I would say is that fourth book with the heroes looking over, that cover kind of looks to me like it would have. I thought that was going to be the first book because it looks like, the intro to a bit Final Fantasy on the NES. You know what I'm talking about. You beat the first boss. I forget his name now, but the knight dude in the castle. You get the princess. You go back to the castle, and it shows you that little cutscene of all the heroes standing like on a hilly. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. But that, I think, is the last book. But my thoughts aside, wonderful artwork on all four of these books. All right. Production status. So the first book, Fate of Boros, is ready for translation. Swedish edition already published. Soot and Soil editing phase. A preview edition was published in Swedish early 2023. It's almost sold out, and they are working on a revised edition of the title, which is estimated to be ready in translation in October, which is probably the best month of the year. Just saying. The third book is ready for translation, Swedish edition already published, and the fourth book is in the writing phase, illustrations underway. Now, here is something that is being mentioned for the first time on this Kickstarter page. Creatures of the Northern Wilds, translated to English and layout phases. The Swedish edition almost sold out and will be reprinted as is. And Creatures of the Northern Wilds is a bestiary, or bestiary, however you want to say it. And I'm very interested in that. I wonder why. Printing is booked at GPS Group in Slovenia in February 2026 for delivery at the end of April the same year. And they will be sharing beta PDFs as soon as each title is ready. So I like that they kind of tell you how far along things are. Not every Kickstarter does that, and that's a little quality that I appreciate. So here's some artwork of the pre-made characters for Soot and Soil. You can, of course, make your own characters if you prefer, but I like the artwork here. I like this guy here. I'm gonna use. See him? He's awesome. The guy with second to the right, or sorry, first to the right from the middle. He looks like he's a drunkard. Looks like he's done some things, bad things, things you wouldn't understand. He looks like a rebel. I'm sorry. I can't help but like reference 20 different things at one time. But at least it's not all the time. Some shipping and tax fees. We'll look at it though, just to be fair. Shipping will be seen from within Sweden, so backers in the European Union won't face any custom duties. For all other countries, custom duties might be charged once your parcel clears customs. Tax fees are calculated and charged after the campaign when Kickstarter Pledge Manager starts. Aside from stretch goals, maps, etc., all rewards are printed as books. For Swedish backers, this adds a 6% tax to the books. Shipping fees, depending on where you're at, it'll vary. And then other countries, yeah. Oh, I like this. If your country is missing from the shipping table, let us know. Chances are good we can find or add it for you. Please be aware that we do not ship to Belarus, Russia, Ukraine, and Brazil. Next, we're looking at the stretch goals. So at 25,000 SEK, that's when they're going to do the hardcover prints, which I am going to assume they hit that. I think. Yeah, they hit that. Let us take a look. Yeah. Converted from 239,000 SEK. So they're at 239,000 SEK and some change. Well, big change. A couple $100 really ain't change. Sure as hell ain't change for me. That's the phone bill. So we know that they hit the print goal. Looks like they hit the Traveler's Guide to Nordmark goal. It's a PDF. Written and illustrated as if it was made by an NPC in Nordmark. And I love that kind of thing. I love when bestiaries do it. I love when lore books do it. I love being told lore and exposition from the world, like the source of it. And if sometimes you have an unreliable narrator in the subject, chef's kiss, like you go into battle thinking you know everything about Bazooba the mighty Minotaur. But then when you fight him, Gagorgabak, the scribe, was wrong about 80% of what he wrote. It's fun. Frustration is fun. You like being stressed out. You like not being right? 50,000 SEK, they unlocked a new profession, minstrel. That's what I would probably play. Then we have a new profession, pretender. A pretender is supposed to keep an eye out for dangerous ideas and people. You eventually left their ranks with a sour taste in your mouth. So a pretender seems to be some kind of group, a sect, a guild, something. At 65,000 SEK, they unlock paper miniatures for the campaign as print and play. Always appreciate miniatures provided, whether they be like this and a little bit of a DIY, or if they just come pre-printed cardboard. I'm not really picky when it comes to miniatures. I actually ran games without miniatures for most years that I've run games. I was always a theater of the mind kind of player, mostly for, monetary reasons. Didn't always have the money, rarely had the money to buy additional stuff. But it is nice that they're including that. At 72,500, they get a new profession, Jack of all trades. You do what seems fit, always have. You know a little bit about many great things, but not much about anything. Holy shit, that sounds like me. That's me. At 80,000, you get an A3 size print of the map of Nordmark, which is really cool. A3 is it's a European measurement. I used to work for a printing company, and we printed A-sized posters all the time. So for you Americans out there, it is roughly 11 by 17 inches. Just so you know. I used to know that, in memory, but it's been years since I did all that stuff. So at 90,000, a light bearer is a new profession. Okay, again, a light bearer's order, but you couldn't stand their dogmatic views and left. All right. So they sound a little culty, right? At 100,000, all 4 books and hardcover, which would be awesome, or is awesome. I think by if I understand correctly, when I scrolled up to the top and looked at the money difference, they reached that goal. At 110,000, there is a 4-page comic added to the Traveler's Guide to Nordmark. Wow. That's cool. A special version of the map of Nordmark added to the Traveler's Guide to Nordmark. I wonder what makes it special. I wonder. At 140,000 SEK, bookmark ribbons added to all 4 books. Color to be decided. So, bookmark ribbons are fantastic. They are not cheap exactly to produce into the book, from what I understand, which is why I know sometimes I used to be this way. I'd see bookmark ribbons as like a stretch goal pretty far down. I'm like, okay, it's a piece of damn ribbon. It's more complicated, especially if you have like a good quality, binding on the book. They're nice to haves, and they are a little extra work, a little extra production, so extra money. They are nice. At 150,000, we'll add a brief description of Boros, the Dwarf Kingdom, to the Traveler's Guide to Nordmark. At 160, the paper miniatures in print. Okay, so then they'll add the paper minis. A new profession, a watcher. You are one of Boros' trusted guards, keeping its interest at heart, living in the world of men. Okay, so you're a little fish out of water, but you're staying true to your roots and your background and where you come from, which is a very dwarven thing to do. Let's see here. At 180, a map of the Scorched Earth. Again, size A3, 11 by 17 inches roughly. If this stretch goal is unlocked, the talented Moreno Paisan? I'm going to go with Paisan. And Angela Gubert will draw the map. Man, it's going to bother me. If I say this person's last name incorrectly, unknowingly, I shouldn't feel too bad about it, but I do. At 190 SEK, we'll add a brief description of Cavalian, or Cavaline, Cavalion, but I think it's Cavalion. The Horse People's Realm to the Traveler's Guide to Nordmark. At 200,000, a map of the wilderness, A3 size. Again, it'll be illustrated by the same people of the previous map mentioned. Then we'll add a brief description of Stoneholm Halls, the Orc's Realm to the Traveler's Guide to Nordmark. Then we're going to unlock the Traveler's Guide to Nordmark in print to all physical pledges, written and illustrated as if it were by an NPC. We get a map of Ramos, capital of Nordmark, A3 size again. Map of Medea, city in Nordmark. At 300,000, they will unlock 4 additional sheets of paper miniatures and 1 battle map print. Cool. Map of Boros, 3 levels, double-sided. A3. Print and play card deck with items from the campaign. Cool. If they reach 375,000 SEK, print and play cards deck with characters from the campaign PDF. Nice. And then last but not least is at 400,000 SEK, it'll be announced. So if they hit it, they'll tell us what it is. I have no idea. I couldn't even begin to speculate what it is. This is the first time I am looking at a campaign on Kickstarter from Daniel Leto. So I don't know what they have done in the past to if they've done anything like that in the past, so I can't even speculate. And then they have a follow along. Follow them on YouTube. Leto Spelak Media or Spelak Media. I'm not gonna try to pronounce other languages, words, maybe. Or you know what? No, I'll try. If I get it wrong, I get it wrong. Someone can correct me. Spell it out for me in the the comments. Like spell out the pronunciations correctly if I'm saying anything wrong. So yeah, they have Instagram, Blue Sky. They have add-ons, and I believe. Okay, they have English and Swedish versions for these add-ons. This is a Swedish only section. I'll just scroll on through. And then they have a few videos showing some of the qualities of their prints, how they do the printing process, stuff about the creators that you can read about. A lot of names that I would not try to pronounce because I would do it horribly, and then some interviews and stuff. So yeah, this is, I'm sure you can hear my mouse wheel squealing there, the Chronicles of Sorrow. It's on Kickstarter right now. It's got 12 days to go. And this one, just, I like Dragonbane a lot as a whole. So the game Dragonbane, currently as it is, printed and produced by Free League, I enjoy it a lot. I wish I knew Swedish because I would love to obtain a copy of the original game, Drakar och Demoner, I believe is what it's called in Swedish. And I would love to read through all of the books and stuff from the 1980s, I believe it was. Maybe 84, I don't know. Sometimes I have a good memory, sometimes I don't. But this game is, as it is now with Free League, it's a wonderful game. If you come across this video and have no idea what any of this is, check it all out if you're a tabletop role player. Check it all out if you're not a tabletop role player. It is a great hobby to get into, and Dragonbane, I believe, is a really, really, really great start to begin that journey. So that's pretty much it. I know this is probably not as entertaining without Jason here. He is, just a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? He's cooler than me. He's more elegant about stuff. Like I'm just like this weird role playing goblin over here all the time. But he is away right now, so he couldn't make it onto this one. So yeah, that's it. Come check out the Kickstarter page for yourself. If it's something you think you'd be interested in, by all means, of course, back it. The other thing I saw is that there's not a lot of English backers on here, and so another reason why I wanted to make this video is because I kind of want to see if anybody in our sphere would be interested in this Kickstarter, and maybe get some more of us, behind this project. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for tolerating my only presence. Uh, and we will see you next time on the Adventure Archive. Bye.